Good afternoon, everybody. I have to get used to saying that now that I'm in real life. It is so good to be here. This isn't my first time here, but this is my first time officially here, just like my new pastor Burmy has said. And I want to thank all of you for being here to support me and most of all to support each other in our relationships with Christ and with each other. So, I'm not sure how much Pastor Burmy has shared with you all, but I'm basically going to be your new pastoral resident. And yes, that is different than what Anthony currently is. He's an amazing intern. He is what I used to be. So basically for the past 2 years, I've been working as a youth pastor intern down in San Diego with my former supervisors, Pastors Mark and Ann Stapleton. And I just want to give you a little bit synopsis of who I am and how I came across the internship. And Anthony Walton is definitely part of that story. So for those of you who do not know me personally, I was born into Worldwide Church of God 25 years ago, 25 and a half years ago. And I grew up in a Christian household, grew up going to church, grew up going to the SCP camps here in San Bernardino when they were still here. And I did not know that my 6 or 7 years from ages 12 to 17, that God would be using my experience as a camper, part of my experience as a leader in the future. But that's basically what he did. And so I graduated from high school 2009. I went straight into UC Davis. Thankfully got accepted there. Worked on a bachelor's degree in psychology for 4 years from 2009 to 2013. Graduated 2013, summer of 2013, with a bachelor's degree in psychology. And after 17 years of my 22-year-old life, I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do with my life. And so that summer of 2013, I'll admit, I got depressed. I came to the end of myself, and I kept on asking God, what do you want from me? I don't know what do you want me to do with my life? I'm only 22, I just graduated. All I knew how to be was a good student, and I was good at it. And so basically, he had to show me what my true identity is, apart from being a good student, being a good daughter, being a team member, family member. My identity, that being a good student did not define me. And so I guess I went on this little quest of finding myself. So I went to the Philippines, end of 2013, beginning of 2014, kind of going back to my familial roots. And at the same time, actually, thankfully, that summer, as I was trying to figure out what my passions are, what I'm good at, and what I like doing, where I flourish, thankfully, my mom had a friend who was a substitute teacher in my local school area, and he said, you know, as long as you have a bachelor's degree, they'll take you in. So I took the CBEST, I passed it, and I worked as a substitute teacher in my local school district for about 8 or 9 months, starting November 2013, and I rolled into the summer of 2014. And as I was a substitute teacher, I also knew that I also was part of the core team that was planning the SCP Spiritual Enrichment Program, part of GCI, for Tahoe, and that started summer of 2014. So I was part of that core team, and since I knew I was going to be a lead counselor for that summer, I was obligated to go to this Converge West conference that took place here in this area a couple of years ago, and I did not know what to expect. I only came because of obligation, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, and most importantly, in the depths of my heart, I was hungry for God to to just give me an answer. Give me some clarity of what do you want from me? And during the course of the next 6 months after that March, I realized that God didn't just want something from me. He wanted me. He wanted all of me. He wanted me to get to know him. Even though I know God knows me. He knows all of us, from the hairs to our heads, to the little experiences that we go through each day. But he also wants us to get to know him, just like in any relationship. And so that's basically what he did. He revealed this internship program to me that March of 2014 at Converge West, and it was through Anthony Walton. He came up to me, never met him before in my life. I thought he was just some random black dude at the conference. No, amazing African American. But he came up to me during a break and he said, "You're Jillian, right?" And I said, "Yes, how do you know my name?" And he said, I just came back from a pastoral conference, and your former senior pastor, Jim Roberts, from Northern California, was raving about you. And he said, if you go to that Converge conference and you see a Jillian Caranto, you got to talk to her about this internship program, because she has a lot to offer. And so that's basically what he did. Anthony and Joe Brannon, who was at the time, and is still a pastoral resident, our friend Joe Brannon serves in Texas. And so Anthony and Joe were talking to me about their own experiences with the program, and even though it was kind of new, it wasn't a dive-in yes right away. But at the same time, as they were talking to me, I was thankful that God was giving me a window, or at least like a crack in the window, to say, hey, this might be something that I want you to do, and I want you to consider it. So I prayed for the next 6 months, and I prayed. I went to SCP Tahoe my first year as a lead counselor, and I loved it. And also, I knew as a substitute teacher that I loved kids. I want to work with young adults or teenagers, high schoolers, middle school age. But I want to reach out to them and connect with them beyond the classroom, beyond the public school system. And I know that I've always been passionate about God, my relationship with God, but I never really knew how I could kind of make that into a career. And so this basically gave me the best of both worlds. This internship, that's actually the clarity that God gave me. Because I knew I wanted to pursue a higher education, but it wasn't in the field of psychology as we know it. But this offered me a master's degree in pastoral studies. It was online, so it would be convenient for me. But then I also basically get paid to do what I love and get pushed out of my comfort zone. And God has been pushing me out of my comfort zone for the past 2 years. But all I can say is I'm really grateful that He gave me that experience. And I'm grateful that I took that leap of faith 2.5 years ago, put my life in 2 suitcases, and flew from Northern California down to San Diego. Didn't know anybody except for the Stapleton family. But even though I didn't know what was going to happen the next day, what was going to happen the next week, He walked with me through all of it, through it all. And He's still walking me through it, and He will always be walking me through it. Even as I just moved here less than a week ago, I'm still trying to figure out this whole freeway system. It's a lot crazier than down in SD, but I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I have more friends, a new family to love, to care for, and to serve. And I'm learning now that I don't have to worry what's going to happen the next day, or 10 years from now, for that matter, because my Papa is telling me that I'm already there, and I'm here with you now. So thank you for being my family for this season of my life.